Alright, let's try to get this sorted. Lil Wayne. Alright, let me get this stuff situated. Got a lot to say. It's been a while. Let's try to get this microphone properly placed. I don't know. Okay, it's Monday, May 20th at 6:57 p.m. I don't think I made a recording at all yesterday, and I'll start there. Woke up at the Airbnb around, I think, 7:30 or so. Compton made coffee. He forgot, or he didn't put the little lid on the carafe, so I had to remake it. It's a small detail, but I do recall it. And then it was me, Special Brew, Compton, Forrest, and Pooh Bear. And we dropped Special Brew off at the partnership shelter in Marion after we left the Airbnb. And said goodbye to her. And then we headed on, hit a little bit of traffic on the way back to Waynesboro from Damascus. But it wasn't that bad. And at this point, I've kind of actually decided I think I'd rather fly back to Atlanta. There was nothing wrong with renting a car, but I don't know, it's just so boring to drive. Even 3 hours, it's just like, man, like I wasn't falling asleep at the wheel, but I could definitely imagine myself being really tired and having a dangerous situation. So maybe I'll just drive a car to like Boston, where Pooh Bear wants to go, and maybe Forrest can come with us, and then we could all part ways from there. Not really sure, but in any case, we got back to Waynesboro. We resupplied at Kroger. Then we went to Ming's for a second time, which is hilarious. We drank some beers that we had left over from the previous night in the parking lot, and then went to Ming's after that. And then we went and dropped off Compton at the trailhead, and then Forrest, Pooh Bear, and I went back to drop off the car, which was like 7 miles away from the trailhead, and that was fun. Listened to some Wheeler Walker in the car, and then we hitched back. We got a ride like 70% of the way from a guy who had to drop us off early because his car was about to run out of gas, which was pretty funny. Then we walked the rest of the way, probably a little over a mile, but better than 7. And then we started hiking. And we hiked a pathetic 5 miles until we found a decent stealth campsite. And we stayed there. I had no water. I was a little anxious about that. But people shared, so it was all good. And we woke up this morning from that campsite and left about 8 a.m. And we've been walking all day. It's like a 30-mile day practically for us, which is pretty big. It's kind of a big deal to do a 30-mile day, and we just kind of decided to do it out of necessity. We have a schedule, and we kind of fell short of our schedule last night. We were supposed to hike 7 miles to a shelter, and we were only able to get 5 before we all, for various reasons, no longer wanted to go forward. So started out at 8 this morning, had to go 2 miles to get water, and we've been kind of cruising ever since. I was in front for a large part of the day. We stopped at a shelter for a pretty good lunch that was delicious and much needed. Had a cup of coffee, had a movement. My butt's actually been chafing since that. I think I removed the cheecular mucosal layer, but whatever. And we just left the campsite store that's like 4 miles away from the shelter we're headed to tonight, and we had dinner there, which is kind of nice. You know, we had beer, which is sweet, and we were able to have dinner now instead of getting into camp tonight and having to eat at like 8:30, which would suck. Now we can just get in, do whatever few chores we need to do, and then go to bed, which after a 30-mile day with a chafy butt for half of it will be nice. We saw a bear today. Saw two. It was cute. I was in the lead, and all of a sudden I heard everyone scream my name, "Moron!" And I was like, "What?" And they pointed up, and I looked up, and there was a bear in a tree above me, and we made eye contact, and I had a bit of a moment with the bear. I just kind of understood, like, what to do. Like, I don't know, it was like looking at my dog, like a better, more capable version of Charlie or Egg, up in the tree. And I was like, all right, well, I guess it's time to go. So I just kept walking, because the mama bear had treed herself, and her little baby was like to our right, not in a tree. And so first day in the Shenandoahs, as per comments, people have said that there are a ton of bears here, and so far it's been true. I've seen more bears here than anywhere else. I saw 0 elsewhere, and now we've seen 2. So 200% increase, and it was kind of cool. I had to pee just now, so I'm kind of behind the group. So there's a chance I might see a bear now, because I think they're most active at like dawn and dusk is what I've heard. But in addition to the bears, the tick activity is pretty nuts out here. Had quite a few ticks on me. Had one last night, had another earlier today, and there was a guy at the shelter where we ate lunch who was just picking them off. Like, he had like 4 or 5 on his legs. So we're all trying to be kind of mindful of that. Pooh Bear and I shaved our legs at the Airbnb, so we've got silky smooth legs now, and hopefully that will go a long way to help with seeing the ticks. But yeah, we just had a great dinner, finishing up the day, and it's one for the books. It's a good day. It is kind of cool that, you know, the necessity to do a 30-miler is like no big deal. Just like, all right, well, that's what we're doing today. I think Compton's body is hurting him a little bit, and I think he overate at lunch and now dinner, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, there was actually a woman who came up to us during dinner and gave us some tuna and some oats. Very nice of her. And Compton and I shared the tuna. I ate a pack right there and the oats were already open, and it was like 2 pounds of oats, so none of us really wanted that, and we didn't really have the heart to say no, so I just kind of threw it into some bushes, like distributed it evenly. I'm trying to look at my legs, make sure I don't have any ticks. But yeah, we're all feeling good. The beer was perfect. Eating dinner there was perfect. Just another good day. Warm, dry, decent breeze every once in a while. And yeah, I mean, what else can you say? Haven't had time to record today since I was in the front, but I knew I had some stuff to say. So took the opportunity to pee and to say what needed to be said. But now I think I've covered it all. Let me think. Came back from Damascus, Waynesboro, Shenandoahs, hiked all day, left at 8, 7 o'clock, probably still got another hour and a half or so. No, probably less than that, hour and some change. So we get to the hut. I think I'm going to sleep pretty well tonight. Slept very well last night. We're all really tired. We made camp at like 11 o'clock instead of pushing forward for another hour. I think it was a good call. Forest was over it with the bugs that were out. It was hard to see anything. We were all kind of ailing in different ways. Yeah, though, pretty nice. So I think I'll go back to music so I can catch up with everybody get into the hut at a reasonable time, call it a day. Probably will be in bed before 9. Well, probably won't be. Maybe 9:30. Anyway, yeah, we have a schedule for this whole week because Pooh Bear wants to get to the halfway mark, which is like 1096 miles before the 29th of May, which works well for Forrest and I because we also would then be at the halfway mark before our second month. So that would bode well for us finishing in like 4 months. So that's the plan for the next few days. Sticking to that schedule, which is why we had to do a 30-miler today because we messed up yesterday. And the rest of the week will be similar. Big days. We're all ready to get back to it. There's also, oh man, got dinner burps. Hold on a sec. Checking for ticks. There is also the 4-state challenge coming up, which is, I think it's going to be 44 miles in 24 hours. We'll go through Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. Stop in Pennsylvania. I think that's just going to be me, Forrest, and Pooh Bear. I think that'll coincide with Compton meeting with his sister for Memorial Day. So that's going to work out well. I'm not sure he was really wanting to do 44 miles in a day, but we're game for it, the three of us. So that should be cool. And yeah, it is what it is, y'all. Got my Dixie hat. Did I mention that? Got an autographed hat by Dixie, from Dixie. Hey y'all, Dixie here. Homemade Wanderlust. Whatever, doesn't matter. Alright, going uphill. Need to stop, focus, listen to some actual music. So, that's the update for now. And I'll try to talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.